Welcome to another weekly S&P 500 market video. In this video, we'll look at the price action for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 futures and their ETF. For more contextual analysis, I will refer you to this post in my newsletter, The Pulse of the Market at Substack. I have placed the link in the description and also in the comment. Let's take a look at the recent price action of the S&P 500 here. First is looking at this particular formation here. We see that it's been putting in a series of lower high and lower low. Now, if we extend this out, we could actually see it might be forming a little bit of a channel or a bull flag. And if we do a major move here, we could get a little bit of a projection, especially on this 78.6 or the 80% level here. And that could project this thing up to 6,200 area. Now, here's the thing, if we go back and take a look at this entire move and see how methodical it is that it's been moving up, if we do the same thing and basically looking at a symmetry move, and you see this symmetry move here, it come up too close to this 78.6, but it never reached to this 100. So it's between 78.6 and this 100 before it does another pullback. So if we take a look at that again on this pivot low and come up to this pivot high and do this, and once again we could see that the price also sort of reverse after we have come up to the 78.6 or a little bit over that 80% level. So right now we could also say, well, how about this move here, right? If we go up here and do a pivot down here and do this, and again, you see that it came up to the 78.6, and then we do a series of pullback. So you could take a look at this recent price action as a bull flag or just a little bit of a descending channel. But in regardless, if we do this symmetry move or the major move of this bull flag, we're basically getting this 80% somewhere around the 6,200 level. So that's why we still have to keep an eye on that. Don't just get this lower high and lower low to fool you into believing that this market is going to be crashing down. Now, we might see a little bit pullback and put in another lower low before it come up. So that is possible, but I would not discard the possibility of this coming week that we might see a price break out of this channel and start moving up to the 6,200 area. Now, let's take a look at the ES, the E-mini S&P 500 future here. First of all, take a look at the market. What the market is pricing in for the upper range is between 6161.25 and 6141.50. And the lower range is between 5978.25 and 5958.50. So those are the upper and lower range for the coming week. Now, in addition to that, remember on the S&P 500, we talk about the major move, and also looking at a similar type of scheme here for this ES, we could see that the extension on an 80% major move will be somewhere up at the 6225 area. And in addition to that, I also put in a fixed range volume profile for this price action here to see where the buyers are and where the sellers. So obviously, we are still seeing some strong selling and buying up here, and which is also coincide with this, area of selling and buying, the on the way down from this particular range here. Basically, I'm looking at this particular range right now on this volume profile. So you could see that there are a little bit of a buying here, and then come down here. You could also see there are some acceptance here. So right now, what we're going to be following here for the coming week is that will this acceptance be pushed down and get down to into this area here, which is coming down to the lower range, and then before we get it down to push up, because you see there are some buyer here that is actually lifting the price up and come back up to this area here. The key thing is we'll be able to break out from this pivot high, and if we could take out this pivot high, then we could see the price come up to this upper range. And it is kind of interesting that, again, the market is not pricing in for the ES to go take out this all-time high here back in December 6th. So we'll see. Maybe this will get taken out, by taking out the upper range and push up to this 80% major move for the coming week here. Now on the downside, if it come down and take out this lower range, we could see a little bit more of a support down here at this area, because there are some buying activity here where the buyers willing to step in and take control. So we could see it come down to this 5900 area here if it breaks below, and essentially we'll still be looking at this channel here, this parallel channel, if it come down to this area and it just make it extended up here, and possibly we get a little bit of an all-time high on this 80% symmetrical move here. And here looking at the SPY, the ETF for the S&P 500, first of all, the market is pricing in a upper range between 611 and 610.20, and for the lower range is between 591.40 and 588. So those are the two ranges. And again, we see that the upper range, the market is only pricing in just barely about the all-time high here. Now, in addition to that, I also projected a major move, basically what we were looking at on the on the S&P 500 and the ES. So the 80% major move will put it up to somewhere around this 620 level on the SPY. Okay? And you see that there is this area here from this profile that there are some acceptance at this range here. And right now, we also saw there's a little bit of acceptance here, and also there's acceptance down here at this low. So we'll keep an eye on it to see would this be able to come down here and get a big bounce back up and break this trend line or out of this channel and move up into this major move area at this 620. Now, if it doesn't break out and it breaks down and come down to this lower range, it would still be okay, because we will still be looking at this channel, basically just going deeper into this descending channel here. So again, we are looking at this area of acceptance here. If it breaks this this level here, right, this low volume zone, okay, and then we're basically looking at the possibility of acceptance up at this high volume area. Okay, so we'll see what this get bought up again and get a bounce back up. So that is what we are looking at in terms of the possibility on the upside, because do not get fooled by this lower high and lower low into believing that this thing is going to be crashing down. Now, I'm not saying that it won't, but right now, looking at the market internals and the other stuff, contextually, from the post that I have in the Substack newsletter, certainly the market has not got to the point that it have instilled building up weakness. It's still holding up quite well, so I would not be looking at shorting this market aggressively yet, but definitely remain cautious. And for the emini Nasdaq 100 futures, the NQ, we're also looking at the market pricing in the upper range to be between 22,050 and 22,015.50. And for the lower range is 21,135 and 20,975. So those are the upper range and lower range. Now, once again, I also have a little bit of a channel here with these lower high and possibly the lower low. Now, in addition to that, we also could draw a little bit of a ascending channel on this little bit of a pullback. But what I'm interested in is again the major move that could project up on a 100% major move somewhere between somewhere up at the 22,841, and the 80% move basically will come up and try to tag this all-time high, put in another new all-time high. Right, so basically that's what I'm looking at right now, to at least for the price, if we could break above this upper range, then we could see the price work itself up for another all-time high, and maybe it will fall short. Who knows, right? but that is one of the possibility on the upside. Now on the downside, we could look at this coming down and possibly come around to this high volume area here for support. Okay, and that would be somewhere around this 20,360. So that would still be within this declining or descending channel here, and that will basically kind of put in this move, the upward move in question. Because right here, if it could not hold this area here, because this is the POC for this particular price range, right? That is the POC, and that is somewhere around this 20,360. So we need to see would it be able to hold above this level if it's starting to move down and dip below the lower range for the coming week. And finally, for the QQQ, the market is pricing in the upper range to be between 534.50 and 533.70. And the lower range is between 512.20 and 508. Now, for the coming week, again, we're basically looking at a symmetry move or breaking out of this trend line here or this channel and push up into this, possibly get up to this 100% major move near the 544. Now, the 80% is right at the upper range here. So we could see the possibility of just coming up to this upper range and test the all-time high and then get the pushback down here into this high volume node here at 522.94. So right now we're basically looking for this to hold up above this HVN and get a push up into the possibility of another all-time high. Now on the downside, let's say it doesn't hold this high volume node here and it moves down, then we're basically looking at this 512 and 508 area and see would it be able to get a bounce back up. And if it doesn't, then we're basically looking at this high volume node here for the next potential support, somewhere around the 496.68. So those are the price action and scenario that we'll be keeping an eye on for the coming week. I believe right now we are still in a little bit of an uptrend here until something deteriorates and tell us that the market is coming down or getting ready to come down. We basically just have to be cautiously on bias on the long side. Now, once again, be sure to go and check out my newsletter at Substack, and you can find the link in the description below and take a look at the weekly analysis post that I have posted there to give you a little bit more contextual analysis on a broader market. And be sure to smash that thumbs up to give it a like to help promote this video. And if you are new to this channel, subscribe and also subscribe to my newsletter at Substack. Thank you for watching and good luck on your trading.